Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Trampionship Wrestling Weekend Show, and we've got a big show for you this weekend, so strap in. So not a whole lot as far as news going on. We did find out through a shirt reveal the name of the stable that I had been calling Future Red Dragon Shock. The CFO for Cole, Fish, O'Reilly is now the Undisputed Era with the catchphrase shock the system. So, little bit of a reference to Future Shock apparently. Don't know if they've already recorded the episode where this is revealed or what's going on that this happened, that they put the shirt out, because the shirt's for sale. You can already buy it. This wasn't a leak. Why did they debut the stable name in merchandise? Don't know. But if you want the shirt for these guys that they were rumoring dishonored just because everybody assumed it was going to be an ROH reference. So, yeah, if you wanted the shirt for the group and you're not salty that they didn't call it Dishonored or something like that, because why would they do a Ring of Honor reference? That was silly. You were dumb. Okay, just move on. We had a lot going on Raw. Braun Strowman laid out Brock Lesnar, like, more so than anybody. Even when Lesnar got beat by Goldberg, it wasn't that big of a beating. It was just like he caught him by surprise. This was bad. So they really want us to believe that Lesnar can be beaten by Strowman. Whether that actually is the case, we'll see soon. No Mercy's coming up on us, but they haven't pushed somebody this hard, and I say that even having seen Samoa Joe choke out Lesnar a while back, it still kind of pales in comparison to that. And just saying that makes me realize that they only have a few times left that they can do this before Lesnar kind of loses his mojo. Although if they keep having him beat everybody that takes him out beforehand, then what's it matter? We also had Bray Wyatt. I love this. I think it got glossed over by a lot of people. He attacked Goldust. They had a match, and he had a promo beforehand where he tried to draw the comparison between Goldust and Finn Balor, specifically the Demon. And after the match, he wiped off Goldust's face paint. Now, we have no idea if this is going to carry over, if this is just a one-time thing, or if there's going to be repercussions for Goldust for this. We already saw that they abandoned Goldust's protege storyline that was supposed to build up to something at SummerSlam. But even if they drop this, I just really love that they kind of referenced how Goldust has gone through these different incarnations over the years, where he was the artist formerly known as. He's dropped the face paint before, but he always goes back to it. It's who he defines himself as, so there is something to the comparison. It's not like the Road Warriors, where the face paint was just to intimidate. This is a specific identity for him, so it works. SmackDown, the biggest thing was the confrontation between Kevin Owens and Vince McMahon. I'm sure you've seen it by now. Vince McMahon gets headbutted by Kevin Owens. A lot of people were freaking out because it was in poor taste because of what happened with Shibata. Well, it wasn't the same thing. It was, maybe it wasn't the best idea, but it worked. It looked great. Owens laid out Vince McMahon. He was given permission to assault a McMahon if physically provoked, but he wasn't physically provoked, so that's going to come back on him. But we also got the Hell in a Cell match booked between Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens. Should be something special. We've seen Kevin Owens in the cell before, and it was okay. But Kevin Owens versus Shane in the cell has a little bit more potential just because Shane is such a spot monkey. He really tends to deliver in what few matches he has, even at his advanced age. Which is to say nothing of Vince McMahon taking a beating from Kevin Owens at his even more so advanced stage. Very, very good storytelling so far. Really looking forward to see where they go with this. 205 Live after SmackDown, the heel turn of Jack Gallagher. Now, for the past 2 weeks, 205 Live has been doing something different. They had been loading up the front of the show, the main event on the front, big storytelling things there, because they were worried about losing people. You know, it's after SmackDown, people have work the next day. It's not like Raw where you know you're getting the big end of Raw at the third hour. So with it being a whole separate show that's only on the network, and a lot of people at the shows aren't subscribers to the network, they don't know 205 Live, they load everything up in the front so that people are more inclined to stick around. But these past 2 weeks, they've been pushing stuff towards the end, and I don't know if that's because they abandoned their strategy or they're just trying to fill the shows more with stuff so that there's not as big a disparity between the main event and what now is the first match. I don't know, but we had Jack Gallagher turn heel, which is fantastic because there were not enough strong heels on 205 Live. Noam Dar, a lot of fun, but can't really carry himself at quite the level that, say, Brian Kendrick or Neville can. Jack Gallagher was really the first success story of 205 Live, so now that we're going to get to see him go from face to heel and see how he carries himself in that aspect should be fantastic. But 205 Live was delayed by half an hour because we had the finals of the Mae Young Classic. Shayna Baszler was probably more favored going into it, but she was taken out by Kairi Sane, who has now been rewarded for her victory with a shot at the next takeover for the vacant NXT Women's Championship. We do not know who she's going to face, so that's probably going to be the focus of the next few episodes of NXT. And also, I'm really hoping that we're going to see a lot of these women from the tournament start to show up more on NXT. We saw it a little bit beforehand, but I think now that the tournament's over, the ones that actually did get signed are going to start to have a stronger presence. A lot of them are going to be trying to get the title shot, I'm sure, but it's probably going to end up being an established NXT roster member already. Liv Morgan, the iconic duo, Ember Moon. It's probably going to be Ember Moon, but we're going to see all these people trying to get that title shot now that there's only one vacant spot for it. Then on NXT the next night, we saw the Undisputed Era, which we referenced earlier, attack Pete Dunne and Wolfgang after their main event match. Pete Dunne looked like he was going to get out and let Wolfgang get attacked on his own. He came back and ended up getting saved by Mustache Mountain, which is interesting because this now makes all three of them ostensibly faces allied together on NXT, whereas in Progress they are very well known for being heels aligned together. Mustache Mountain, if you're not sure, if you're not familiar, that is Tyler Bate and Trent Seven. They competed together as Mustache Mountain as a tag team. I learned who they were from WCPW, but they've been in the English wrestling scene before that. And in Progress, they have allied themselves with Tyler Bate as British Strong Style, the top tier group within Progress. Bate and Seven only this past weekend ended up losing the tag team championships. They were the tag team champions for quite a while. Tyler Bate is the Progress World Champion. He's been carrying both that and the WWE UK Championship at the Progress shows. Been kind of doing the whole Summer of Punk style. We're leaving. We're going to take the belts. We're only here to advance ourselves to WWE story. And it's been working for them. But now that they're going to be good guys together in NXT, it's going to put another wrinkle in them being bad guys in Progress, because that WWE cash always dictates things more than any other group's bookings it does. Now, looking at the shows coming up, we have so many shows. Starting, if you're watching this on Saturday, it is probably too late, but you can still catch the replay. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Destruction in Hiroshima. This broadcast at 5 a.m., so I don't even think this video is going to be live yet. But Roppongi Vice's final match, they are taking on Yujiro Takahashi and Chase Owens. Since they have lost the Wrestle Circus Tag Championship a while back, I do not believe that they have any plans to tag together on the Indies, so this could very well be their final match for quite a while. It's probably going to be a couple of years before they reunite. Ring of Honor, PWG, something like that. Maybe a New Japan special, but it's going to be a little bit. This is being booked as their final match overall. Then you've got the Junior Heavyweight Tag Championship. Taguchi and Ricochet are going to take on the team of Taichi and Kanemaru, representing Suzuki-gun. The Tag Championships, War Machine versus Guerrillas of Destiny versus Killer Elite Squad. That is happening at all of the Destruction in shows. So whoever wins, there's going to be a rematch coming down the line anyway. You got the Junior Heavyweight Championship, Kushida versus Desperado. And the Intercontinental Championship, Tanahashi defends against Zack Sabre Jr. And that is going to be a hell of a match. So check that out. It's a good card. There's some undercard matches as well, but those are the ones that are your big marquee matches. That's a lot for a Destruction card. These are not the tour enders. These are just little stops on the tour that the Road To's build up to, but there's more Destruction coming, so for this card to be this stacked is pretty impressive. We have a couple of WAW shows on Fight TV for $9.99 each. WAW is Ricky Knight's promotion. If you don't know that name, but it sounds a little familiar, that is Paige's father. They did a show on Friday night with their women's wrestling company, and this is part of the double bill, but they haven't released the card. We know Cody and Scott Hall are supposed to be there in some capacity. Jack Swagger's booked on the card, but we don't know matches for either show. 2 shows, $10 each. Don't know who's in them. We've got ACW, Don't Trust Anyone, on Sunday. That is on Flow Slam. That's going to be 3:45 p.m. Eastern. I don't know these people, but here are the title matches. We got the Women's Championship. Jenna will take on Leah Knox. Jenna's defending. You got the Cruiserweight Champion, Troy Hollywood versus John Cruz versus Marcos Espada versus Blanco Loco. So obviously a 4 corners match. For the ACW Championship, you've got a street fight. Pero is going to defend against Irish Jack. My handwriting is so bad I can't even write it. Pero defending against Irish Jack. But the thing is, if you have Flow Slam, which is part of the WWN network, you get this anyway, so check it out. New wrestlers that you don't know, get familiar with them. Speaking of Flow Slam, IPW UK Super Show, Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, also on Flow Slam, so this is included in your subscription. There's a tag team opportunity, not a title match, but for a tag team championship match down the line. Smooth and Flex versus DND. Okay. Women's Championship, Amazon is going to defend against Livy Grace. We're going to have Big Grizzly versus Matt Riddle. Big Grizzly we talked about a little bit last week. Just a mammoth man, a little bit like Big Damo in build. And Matt Riddle is just blazing through the indies right now. One of the hottest names on there for a good reason. So this is going to be a hell of a match. And then, much like the tag team match, this is for a future title match. Jimmy Havoc taking on Cara Noir. Don't know Cara Noir, but Jimmy Havoc is probably the biggest name in British wrestling right now. So that's going to be one I'm going to be very curious to see how it turns out. Style Battle also on Sunday on FloSlam. Big weekend for FloSlam. 7 p.m. Eastern. This is a series of tournaments that they're having, and the idea is that these are the guys that are not quite at that Matt Riddle level. These are the guys trying to work up to that level. So they may not quite be ready for Evolve. These are the guys that they're trying to keep their eye on and give some exposure before they get to that point. The names signed to it are A.R. Fox, who probably is at that level, Darby Allin, who's getting a lot of exposure out there, but Ethan Case, Nathan Cruz, Saeed Al-Sabah, Leon Ruff, Matt Palmer, and Kai Katana are going to be in this tournament. And then at the end of the season, everybody that is that has won these matches is going to be in a final tournament to decide the Style Battle champion. On Sunday, Powerbomb TV streaming, 8 p.m. Eastern, Bytown Championship Wrestling. This is a hell of a card. They have not announced many matches, but they've announced signings of a lot of different wrestlers. But the matches that we do know are Moose versus Shane Strickland, Catherine Von Goth versus CC Galavis, in a tournament match for the championship, Tyson Ducks versus Chris Adonis, who you probably know as the Masterpiece, Chris Masters, and in a very weird 6-man tag team pairing, Fight or Flight, who I'm not familiar with, and Stu Grayson, who you might know as Player Dos, tag team partner of Player Uno in the Super Smash Brothers, who's now Evil Uno. That is Stu Grayson teaming with Fight or Flight against the Young Bucks and Ethan Page. Not Hangman Page. I thought we were done with this shit. Not that guy, but Ethan Page, all ego Ethan Page, with the Young Bucks in a 6-man tag match. I'm sorry, we are just getting word. This show's not happening. Lovely. For comment, we go now to the Twitter page of AJ Matthews, the promoter of Bytown Championship Wrestling. Of course. So, yeah, it looks like Adrian James or AJ Matthews, whatever name he's going by, booked some talent. They ended up buying their own plane tickets that are now possibly non-refundable. They turned down bookings. And a lot of the other talents just never got contacted, but were put on the card anyway. So some guys losing out on money, some guys just were slapped on a poster to sell tickets, and one guy is said to have run away with the startup money. Can we get comment? Of course. Yeah, so indie wrestling, folks. Yeah, so yeah. Raw on Monday, we are going to have a match between Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. This is obviously building up to the No Mercy Fatal 4-Way match. SmackDown on Tuesday, Baron Corbin is going to be the challenger in AJ Styles' version of the United States Open Challenge. So 2 big matches set for next week. Let's see. PCW, Bigger on the Inside on Friday. This is on Powerbomb TV. This one looks like it's actually going to happen. This is that Preston Championship Wrestling that we talked about last week that got screwed out of that television deal by 5-Star Wrestling. Don't know many of these guys, but I'm very interested in this. Big T and Tel Bannum versus Matthew Brooks and a mystery partner. Last man standing match, T-Bone versus Bubblegum. I don't know who Bubblegum is. But if he loses, he has to retire. Tag team title match, UK Hooligans team up. They're going to defend the championship against NAK. we have Lionheart versus Jake Cons, if I can read my handwriting correctly. And the Cruiserweight Championship, Dean Allmark defends against Chris Ridgway. Vaguely familiar name. But it is included with your Powerbomb subscription, so if you are on Powerbomb, it's not going to cost you nothing extra. Evolve 92 on Friday is Flow Slam, 5 p.m. Eastern. DJZ versus Fred Yei. Big fan of DJZ. He's a friend of the show, and I'm very happy that he is back, healthy, doing well, wrestling, putting on great matches. We got James Drake and Anthony Henry versus the Troll Boys. That is the team of All Ego, Ethan Page, and ACH. They've been doing some great work in Evolve lately. We have Matt Riddle and Keith Lee. Fantastic team, by the way. Taking on Chris Dickinson and Jaka. And for the Evolve title, Zack Sabre Jr. in another title match this week versus Davey Richards. So that is going to be a hell of a match. Two fantastic wrestlers. Davey Richards, probably a little bit more seasoned, but not by a whole lot. Zack Sabre Jr. is really kind of earning his spot at the top of the indie scene right now. So it's going to be a good one. And then we have Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, 9 p.m. on Friday evening. This is $34.99 pay-per-view on Fight TV or ROHWrestling.com. This is a loaded card. Chuck Taylor versus Marty Scurll. They are bringing their PWG feud to Ring of Honor. It's going to be good. We got Street Fight, Jay White versus Punishment Martinez. Yawn. But a last man standing match. Jay Lethal versus Silas Young. The Kingdom is going to take on Bully Ray and the Briscoes in a 6-man match, and the winner will advance to face the Young Bucks and Hangman Page. Thought I saw him. And if Hangman Page does not show up, apparently they're just going to wrestle 2-on-3, but the Bucks have said that if they retain, they're planning to freebird the championship amongst the entire Bullet Club. It's not the Young Bucks and Adam Page that are the 6-man tag champs. It's the Bullet Club. So whether that comes into play this Friday, don't know. But ROH has already said they won't let them do it. Could be shenanigans in the meantime. But the Bucks also have a regular, traditional 2-man tag championship match against the Motor City Machine Guns. So in the 6-man tag match, both teams are going to have matches previous in the night, kind of like WrestleMania 10. Then you get the TV title. Kushida is going to be defending against Kenny King. Kenny King is kind of on a big boost since he was on The Bachelor, so they're kind of trying to capitalize on him getting all those eyes on him from mainstream. Whether or not that means they put the belt on him, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Kushida. Not a big fan of Kenny King either, but I think I'd rather have the belt on Kenny King at this point. And then finally, the Ring of Honor Championship. Cody is going to defend his ring, not his belt, his ring, against Minoru Suzuki. I don't like Minoru Suzuki. I'm not a huge fan of Cody. I think he's a great guy, but as a wrestler, not that big a fan, but I do not like Minoru Suzuki, so I am looking at Cody as the lesser of two evils here. But please, the previews that we just went through are courtesy of the Reddit Country Club Wrestling Calendar. Address here. And please check us out in the thread at the Reddit Country Club on Reddit. We'll throw up the address right here. You will find stickied up there over the weekend thread that comes along with this. Any comments that you have that you don't want to put in the comments below, but you want to throw up there, get into a discussion about what's going on in wrestling this week, please check it out right there. Any kind of comments, requests you have about the show itself, about the channel, leave them in the comments. Love you guys. Thank you for checking this out as always. Deepest thanks. Cheers.